Wow. I can't say that I'm surprised that this happened, but, it's like lightning strikes with this guy. I'm going to go ahead and crown him. I'm going to give him a little Burger King crown here. Asshole Aaron. That's what we're going to start calling this guy. So he's going to be issuing up to 50 million more shares, essentially diluting the stock. And anybody that's telling you that, oh, this is a good thing, they fundamentally do not understand how short squeezes work and how stocks work and how dilution works. When you dilute a stock, you can kind of think of it like, a great analogy. If you imagine soup, right? Imagine you've got a gallon of soup in front of you and it's not enough. You need more soup. So you start pouring in water. What does that do to the soup? It thins it out. It thins out the value that is sitting there. Okay. So same thing happens with a currency. Whenever you have a currency like the US dollar, you start printing massive amounts of it. It's the same thing. You're pouring in water. You're diluting out the value. That's why we saw all the inflation the last, year and a half, 2 years. So the same thing happens with a stock whenever you dilute the supply. He's effectively stealing value away from investors on the stock by diluting it. Now, typically what happens with share dilution with a company is the immediate reaction is that the stock drops, right? Now, what's supposed to happen is the stock immediately drops and then they use that money to somehow grow the business, right? That's not what's happening here. You can't tell me. So if we look over here at the chart, you can't tell me that the second this thing starts to pump, literally the same exact day that Roaring Kitty comes out and he says, he's giving these clues that something might be happening, and I think that he might be trying to trigger a short squeeze here. And then asshole Aaron pops up, 50 million supply dump. That's kind of like you trying to start a fire, and then somebody comes over and dumps water on your fire, and they're like, oh, I'm sorry. Gee, I didn't mean to do that. It's like, it's so blatantly obvious what he is doing. I do not trust him. I've said for years that I do not trust this guy. I think he's a Wall Street guy that, he's probably got friends of his that tap him on the shoulder and say, hey, I need you to do me this favor. Because, they all rub shoulders, it's not like they don't know each other. It's frustrating. And then I hear the arguments on the other side of it that people say that, he's paying down the debt. He's building the business up. That doesn't matter. Okay. That effectively doesn't matter when it comes to a short squeeze. The only thing that matters with a short squeeze is when price goes up and it forces people to cover. No amount of paying down a company debt or building more movie theaters is going to make the price go up and to trigger a short squeeze. You'd have to really increase income and completely turn the business around, which he's not doing. Diluting a stock, it directly helps short sellers. Let me show you. So you come over here. I'm just going to zoom out here. Just bear with me. Let's say that, where the hell did my color go? Okay, let's say you short the stock here, right? Up there at $8, right? Share dilution comes in and the price falls. Okay. Well, my short position doesn't change. The short position's still way up here, but asshole Aaron comes in and he says, we're diluting the stock, price drops. Now they're automatically moving more into profit. Please explain to me how that is good for the company. How is that helping the situation? And we've seen this time and time again where it starts to move and then instantly dilution happens. It's like, so what, you just sit there waiting in your office, waiting for the price to spike just a little bit and then, it's a great time to dilute. It's like a joke, really. It's the guy is just, I don't know how I know there's some people that actually like the guy, but I don't know how you can like him if you understand how stock markets actually work and understand what it is that he's doing. He's doing nothing to help the situation. He's actively doing things to help short sellers in the situation. It's just frustrating. This is what I got frustrated about 2 years ago, just seeing the corruption and then nothing being done about it. I think the strongest hope that I have is asset tokenization, because So for those that are unfamiliar with how asset tokenization works, like Larry Fink, for example, of BlackRock, they want to tokenize all the world's assets. So cars, real estate, treasuries is what they've already started tokenizing, and they're going to tokenize stocks. If that happens, you cannot have synthetic shares and duplicate shares and naked shorting and everything going on, because it's all on a blockchain. It's all accounted for. There is none of this funny business that can be taken. Like you can't create more Bitcoin, for example. Like the supply is fixed. So if you tokenize something, like, so for example, if you have like an NFT, it's a non-fungible token, that's it. You can't just print more by doing funny business behind the scenes like we talked about in the synthetic naked shorting video that I had done like 2 years ago. That can't like place. So if they're moving towards asset tokenization, and we are right, and all of this is still going on, and I believe that it does. I think that's the one thing that I can take away from Adam Aaron coming out and dumping shares right when the thing starts moving up again, is that it's very likely that this stuff is still going on today, and he's actively helping them. That's my opinion. Nothing to really base it on other than his actions and just judging it on the news. So take that for what it's worth. But if this is going on like we think, and an asset tokenization is coming, then you have to clean it up. You have to clean up all these extra shares and synthetic shorts and everything that we believe are out there. It can't just sit around there if everything's being tokenized. So that's kind of the light of the tunnel that I see for cleaning this whole thing up. And I mean, I think that's going to come a lot quicker than people expect with the tokenization of all the world's assets. And that's why I'm such a huge bull on Ethereum, because I mean, you can't have an asset that's backing all of the world's assets and have it not go up in value. But anyway, so let's take a look here at the chart. So kind of a technical analysis thing that's going on here. You'll notice that if I'm pulling from the low here, right? So this is the algorithm that I've talked about for years. It trades across all markets. These are what financial institutions like insurance funds, they use this to trade their portfolios. So the red line here, that's a 50% retracement. So if you pull from the low up, so price came back, hits the 50, algorithms engage, they begin buying up the price. 50's up here. So that begins buying up the price. They continue to buy all the way down to the 618. If it breaks through there, then the algorithm flips and they would pull the opposite direction. So their first target would be up at the negative 236. So from a technical analysis standpoint, it looks like it's come down and it's pegged to 50. Now, what it could do is it could go off from here. So for example, you had this measured move down. So we're looking for it to come up like this. So that could happen. So we got to keep an eye out for that. But if anything else changes, I will keep y'all updated. Just kind of wanted to give my thoughts on the Adam Aaron situation. I wasn't really planning on doing another video like this today, but I mean, it's just like, it's like the guy is like, I mean, can you be any more transparent in what you're doing? It's just sickening. Anyway, I'll talk to y'all later.